Halloween. Grand day, everybody. It's 4:20, so in height of that, let's play a video. This is for smokers, firefighters, and any conscious breather, or anyone that wants to also strengthen their heart as well. This is a good one to strengthen the heart. We'll go over why that is in terms of internal pressure. Grand eternal risings, y'all.
It's 4:20. We're gonna get it on.
In no means am I suggesting or promoting, but I thought I would just share this funny video. Gratitude. Okay, I guess there's a lag there, but oh well. You get the point. Grand day, everybody. Grand day. If you know a firefighter, if you know a smoker, send this to them to help clear out the lungs. Gratitude. Hey. So I know there's one version we did for the firefighters with tapping the rib cage. The next one, quit after the 21st. Hey, congrats. The next one, I know we talked about tapping the rib cage here, but instead of randomly tapping, we tap with rhythm. Because when you tap with rhythm, don't you feel, in general, we're so numb into the aspect or the idea that how everything we perceive in the now moment is technically breathing down to the action itself. You get what I mean? And what do I mean by that? All code uses compression. I know there's a lot of quote-unquote science now coming out saying that we live in a black hole, that this is more simulated than we think, in a sense. So if that were the case, all code, keyword facts, this is a fact, all code uses compression. Compression, pressure. Whoa. Doesn't life have its pressures? Doesn't stress have its pressures? You can't see it though, but you feel it, right? You can't see it, but you feel it. Doesn't it have a layer that just hits you? Just like when the music hits you, right? When that good music hits you, you get that good feeling, right? And then when that stress hits you, you get that other feeling, right? Let's be real here. So with that being said, how do we layer the connectivity to the unseen? And that's with rhythm. Simple. Ooh. And let me simplify it versus just randomly tapping. Compress waves of sound, just like our breath, right? So if you didn't see, before we get into our experience of the day, we're going to talk about quick dolphins. Can't even read this. Oh well. Anyway, you can now communicate with dolphins with AI. And we knew that was coming eventually. We can already communicate. We've been already communicating with animals for God knows when. But now we're using other mediums, if you will, to do so. And you know what sounds like a dolphin clicking sound that the dolphins make? Sounds familiar. So what happens when a dolphin makes that clicking noise and it sends an echo? What happens? Don't worry, I'm going to clean up the audio after this. So if you guys want to watch this on replay. But what happens after a dolphin lets off that clicking noise when they're quote unquote communicating via sonar? What is happening? Well, they're pinging off the environment and it's pinging back to them. Just like when you go into a room and you feel a certain way. When you inhale, you're inhaling all that code. You're inhaling all that information. You're inhaling what happened in that room prior, the day before, etc. You're literally inhaling all of that code all in one. And how can you even prove this is a fact? Well, we can take the CERN experiments where we put a bunch of monks in one spot and they generated an immense amount of energy, and then they left the space and you can still read as if they were still there. The readings that they were showing in terms of the feedback they were getting from the environment as if they were still there meditating. So you leave an imprint wherever you go, just like a tornado leaves its imprint wherever it goes, right? But then after the tornado finishes and becomes a speck of dust, you're like, damn, it left all this destruction, but where's the actual physical tornado? Is it still running now? No. But it left an imprint. Every breath leaves an imprint. Every touch leaves an imprint. Every thought leaves an imprint. It's honestly a blessing to be a receiver, and how you receive. It's not what you think, but it's how you think, right? And how you receive plays a role into the echo of whatever material, event, experience you're having. It all plays a connecting role to that. So with that being said, let's get into the breath therapy now that we got some people joining. Okay, now that we know about compression and data code in a sense, how do we have a deeper relationship with the internal code, especially if you're a smoker or a firefighter in that sense? You want to be tapping the chest, because in the chest area, a lot of also stagnant emotion gets stuck here, especially if you're a smoker, you're doing a mouth breathing event as well. So how much do you nasal breathe after that or during that experience where it's not too harsh on the body, but it has a better aspect of gas exchange? Now, if your breath becomes a more efficient, coherent vehicle, then whatever you're inhaling via herb, hopefully it's organic, you're using even plasma or a natural way of even heating it versus butane. You can even use a rope, and you can even ingest herb. Let's also talk about that. You can also ingest herb, use it topically. There's other ways of integrating with herbs in general, not just one. So instead of randomly tapping, we know how good tapping is, etc. But when you build a connecting rhythmic force, you have a deeper connection and a feel of what is really happening internally, right? So you want to be breathing from your center, the source, here. Your center. This is your center. Your lungs don't breathe for you. Your diaphragm breathes for you. What do you mean, Devon? Aren't the lungs automatically pumping? Well, it's the diaphragm that pumps the lungs. So, in a sense, yes, source is breathing through you, because at one point you'll need consciousness to either control the data input. Let's go back to this. Control the data intake and the data release. Now, the data intake is already happening internally. What do I mean by that? Your first breath is your exhale. So if you think about your first breath being your exhale and you expelling all that liquid so you can then inhale, what does that tell you about the diaphragm and what's pumping the diaphragm in itself? The pulse. Oh, pulse source. Does that make even better sense in the aspect of we're not just breathing air or source in itself is breathing through us? And we're echoing out source in that sense. So with that, and as I'm playing with the chi, the connection starts to go wee wee. So in the wind. So when you have the tongue on the roof of your mouth, you'll also start to taste, as we go deeper into a parasympathetic breath and rhythm, you'll taste sweet, bitter, metallic-y. Those are all natural peptides that you can release, and also cleanse. And also, if you're getting a habit of releasing that, no matter what diet you are on, if you're eating solid foods, you will start to see mucus come out, no matter what diet you are on. If you have a rhythmic flow coming all the way from here, it's not about what you put internally, but how does that internal rhythmic flow go internally in terms of the shock wave. It goes all the way into the GI tract, and then I can go into layers and layers and layers, but you get the point. Internal pressure creates internal resonance, and when we have rhythm, we have a deeper connection. So with that being said, you can be horse stance. Definitely do this standing up, because the point is to cleanse out any smoke or have better gas exchange in general, whether you're smoking or you're a firefighter in general. And this will also build a stronger heart. So on your inhale, again, if you're just joining us, it doesn't matter if you're sucking in, but the motion is to push in. So either that or just the motion of pushing in. As for the exhale, what I want you to do is tap your middle of your chest while you're exhaling. And then the inhale, I want you to have also one hand right at the center, preferably your left hand, and your right hand will be the tapping. When you have your hand at the center, you have your internal awareness in terms of proprioception. You have a sense of your quote-unquote breathing from the center. Whether your hands be over here or over there, it's like you're breathing over there. Wherever the mind goes and wherever your consciousness is, this is your consciousness. So if your consciousness is at your center point, which is not here actually, it is here. And in Chinese Dantian, it doesn't mean physical center. It doesn't mean belly button. It doesn't mean etc. No, in physical Chinese translation, it means center, energy center, energy center. So one hand, right hand here, left hand here. Breathing at your own pace, tongue on the roof of the mouth, preferably your eyes closed, so you can have a deeper internal awareness, and breathe at your own pace. I'm only a guide. And when you exhale and release, your exhale should be long, slow, and literally you're releasing your stomach on the exhale. Breathing at your own pace, still keeping your hands below the belly button at the center. Inhale, pushing in. Exhale, letting go. Tapping the center of the chest. And when you're tapping the center of the chest while you're exhaling, what do you think is happening to any trapped or blocked airways? Your exhale is going up and you're tapping in rhythm. So what's happening? You're creating even a more dynamic internal pressure and force. So anything that is quote unquote stagnant blood-wise, and then your blood affects muscles down to the fascia, it will start to open up your chest more and more. All right, keep on breathing at your own pace. Not only that, you're also listening and hearing the sound of your chest as well. So here's your quote-unquote frequency therapy in itself. The sound of the chest, along with the sound of the parasympathetic breath, the exhale, tapping in rhythm. And then on the inhale, you're still. Exhale, tap. Whether it be stomach vacuum or just the motion of you feeling your stomach pushing in, because when the air comes in and the motion is in, you have even more dynamic pressure spiraling within. Ooh, bars. Breathing at your own pace, breathing only with the nose, tongue on the roof of the mouth if you're joining us. Breathing from the center. Feeling your exhale get longer and longer. Feeling your heart get stronger and stronger. See, when you're tapping in rhythm, there's more coherence when it comes to also the blood coming back to the heart. And that's why I mean this rhythmic flow is definitely a great builder for a stronger heart as well. For anyone that has dealt with stroke, send this to them as well. This is also a good one for people who have strokes, firefighters, smokers. If you want a stronger heart in general, it's a great thing to do. And also breathe with rhythm, tap with rhythm is a stronger internal connection if you want that deeper resonance. So use this not as a technique, but as a lifestyle. And that's the point of what I share. Not a method, but integrating it into your lifestyle, your everyday life, beyond the sit-down session. Have fun with it. Feel, connect with your internal self with every breath. Have a breathful day, y'all.